Well, you know this guy, he's been at it for over 30 years. You may get to hear him on the radio Saturday mornings from 11:30 to 12 on Relevant Radio 1330. It's been my pleasure to work with him for a few years in radio as well. We have a microphone here just kind of for show, because he's got a big voice and an even bigger heart. Brian Gibson.
Okay. Thank you, Glenn, I think. Can you all hear me? I can talk louder if need be, so just let me know. At least I've been told that many times. Getting very serious here tonight. I'm here to give an update of where the ministry has been during this past year, as well as where we're going forward to. And what I'd like to start with is, right next to me are 13 red roses. And the reason we have these 13 red roses here is that in January of 1987, the remains of 13 aborted babies were found in the dumpster, in the trash, behind the Robbinsdale abortion clinic. And when they were found, we brought them to our office. We then made sure that they were given a dignified funeral and burial. This past September, there was a National Day of Remembrance for aborted children, so we had the opportunity to remember this once again. Let this be real fresh in our hearts and our minds. And we went out and we prayed out at Resurrection Cemetery, where these children are buried together. It was a very moving and powerful event, and I think we're going to join in and do this every year in the years to come as it continues to take place. During our Lenten 40 Days for Life this past winter, since spring never came, we finished it with a biblical Jericho march. And what we did is the last 7 days of the 40 Days for Life, we marched around in silent prayer around the whole block around the mega Planned Parenthood in St. Paul, once each day, until on the 7th day, which was going to be the closing for our 40 Days for Life, we then marched around 7 times. And during the 7th time around, a gentleman had brought a shofar, which is a ram's horn, and started blowing it. And we had this holy eeriness of this sound resounding through this whole neighborhood as we marched around, and we came around and we ended that, and then shouted out our praises to God at the end. And quite honestly, I was hoping a sinkhole would open up under Planned Parenthood and that would be done, but God has other plans for us on that end of things. Good Friday, our prayer vigil this year, we had more than 2,800 people, 2,800 Christians praying at Planned Parenthood on Good Friday. I want to give a little significance to this. This doesn't happen anywhere else in the United States, or in the world for that matter. This is probably the largest group of Christians at an abortion facility in the world. And it happens here in the lowly Twin Cities every year when we do our Good Friday prayer vigil. This summer we had our 3rd National Sidewalk Counseling Conference, National Sidewalk Counseling Symposium, well attended by pro-life leaders who helped give presentations. Reverend Walter Hoy, Father Frank Pavone, Sean Carney from 40 Days for Life were among the presenters. We had another 70 or so people from around the United States who had come to learn how to build up and do sidewalk counseling all across the United States. And after doing this 3 years in a row, we have more than 100 places around the United States have now gotten training to do sidewalk counseling, either in a new and a fresh way, or been built up in what they're doing, or something brand new that's not happened before. So the work of effective sidewalk counseling out at the abortion centers is growing all across the United States because of the work that we're doing here in the Twin Cities. And we're really excited about that. We currently are in our fall 40 Days for Life. The location is the mega Planned Parenthood at Vandalia and University Avenue, basically, in St. Paul. If you haven't come out and joined us in prayer, guess what? You need to. Come out, join us in prayer. Anytime, any day, come out and join in prayer. I know many of the churches have adopted a day to have the whole day of prayer out at Planned Parenthood, but that isn't the only time you should come out, and it isn't the only way you can come out. You can come out with your church group, with your Bible study, with your men's or women's group, your neighborhood, your friends from church, whatever it might be, your family. Come on out and pray and take some time to pray out there. We know the power of effective prayer because we saw Regions Hospital close doing this a couple years ago. So we want to keep doing this, very much so. And just next Sunday, October 13th, is our midpoint rally at 3 p.m. out at this location. So if you want to come when there's a large group, come on out on October 13th at 3 p.m. to join us in prayer out there. So far in 2013, we have documented 85 babies saved from being killed by abortion at the abortion facilities. 85. And I don't know if you got to see this display that's lit up over in the corner here, to my left, to your right, if you're facing me. Sitting on those tables are 2,900 fetal models, representing the almost 2,900 babies that we have saved in the history of the ministry. So we just praise God for every one of those lives that have been saved in the work that we do out there. Going forward, in your program, on the one of the pages there's how you can help, and I just want to highlight some of this because it's talking about what we're doing as we go forward. We created a few years ago a sidewalk counseling brochure to hand out to the women who are going into the abortion facilities, and we immediately started using it in our work in the Twin Cities as well as in Central Florida, where we have a satellite office. And we started using it like that. And pretty soon we started getting calls from people around the United States that wanted to use something similar. So we started producing a national version of it. We make it in English and Spanish. We're only bilingual so far with it. But we now are at almost 340,000 of these that have been published and distributed all over the United States, effectively saving lives all over the place. So we continue to grow with that program as well. Our National Sidewalk Counseling Symposium, we've done it 3 years in a row in the Twin Cities now. And what we'd like to do, we've been invited to a half a dozen locations around the United States to come and put it on in those locations. Basically going to another area of the country where we could draw from a larger demographic and put on this conference. We're discerning where we're going to go, but we would like to take it on the road next summer. So that's where our National Sidewalk Counseling Symposium is headed. I'm going to get a little geeky with you for a moment here. I don't know if any of you know what a Novell NetWare server network is. But if you don't know what it is, it's good because they quit making them in 2002. It went out of service. Actually, they quit making it in the 1990s. Our computer system is that ancient, and we need to upgrade it. We have had this very generous donation that's been made because of somebody involved in the ministry where we have been given brand new Office Suite computer software from Microsoft for all of us, given to us, as well as the server software and these other things. So now we need to finish the job and get the hardware up to speed so that we can do it. And actually the hardware costs more than what we've got listed in the program. We also have a donor who's already made a $2,000 contribution toward the hardware, so we're trying to get that completed and done with that. At this point, if we could have the first slide up, this is the most exciting new stuff I want to share with you. We are creating new signs for our sidewalk counseling with new themes tied into a new concept. This is cutting edge. We want to start using text messaging out at the abortion facilities. Now, we already have it set up to work with a local pregnancy help center who's going to provide the counselors who are trained already in dealing with women who are considering abortion. They will receive these text messages and be able to live text with women who are actually at the abortion facilities, telling them the truth and helping getting more women out of these places and saving more babies' lives. And of course, in order to put that information out, We're going to have new signs like this one. We're trying to also pick up on new themes here. We've had studies that show us why women have abortions, and we're trying to counter that with messages directly. So this is also one of those messages showing that they can change their mind. Currently, there's the number of abortions that are done that are chemical abortions, the RU46 abortions, is growing greatly. Planned Parenthood of Minnesota, about 40% are now currently chemical abortions. And what we have already set up with some medical professionals in the area is that we can actually still save the baby's life even if they've taken the first pill in this process. So we have this for that reason. And again, this is emphasizing strong, one of those reasons. The primary demographic that the abortion industry picks on are college-age women. And of course, we're just here, we're countering that whole focus on, you know, you need to do this because it's going to ruin your career. Here we're showing them you can do this, you can make it through this. And we've also long known, and we've also learned through studies, that if the woman sees her ultrasound, the likelihood of her aborting her child disappears very quickly. So we know that by showing the ultrasound, so we're also playing on that as well in our signage. And then also the theme of understanding that the abortion is actually harmful to the woman as well. So we want to get these new signs and produce them. Most of them are in color, put them on placards. We want to put them out there. We need to get about 225 in our initial run with these and start working with them and get this text messaging program going and working all at the same time. So we're very excited about where we're going with that direction. Another thing that we're looking at doing as we go forward is doing some individual abortion facility strategizing in a way we've never done it before. And what we want to do is bring together the sidewalk counselors and the prayer supporters who are already going out to specific locations and sit down and talk about how we can change, adjust, work differently, build teamwork, do something here so that we can enhance the work that we're doing at these locations to save even more lives and do a better job than we're doing now. And in that, we know one thing, is that we still need more sidewalk counselors. We long prided ourselves in trying to work toward what we called full coverage. And what we meant by that in the old days was that at least one person or at least one or two people would be at every abortion facility when the women were coming for abortions. Well, we redefined that a little bit because we realized that at most of these locations now, we need more people there to cover them properly. One location in downtown Minneapolis, we need 4 people there at a time because there's 4 entrances that the women can go into at this building, and most days we only have 1. So we need more people to be willing to become sidewalk counselors. And I think in your program there is the sidewalk counseling training that we'll be doing in November 7th, which will be at the Church of St. Paul in Ham Lake. That's on the back page. So we invite you to consider becoming an active sidewalk counselor with our ministry. We have a program that we started that's called 4,000 Intercessors for Life. And that's really what we're using these plastic fetal models for. These are babies at 12 weeks, which is first trimester abortions. We originally purchased 4,000 of these to represent the number of abortions that are done each year at Planned Parenthood. One place, at Planned Parenthood. Well, we brought them out when they were building their new mega facility. We were trying to influence the contractors and the construction workers with this. And once they did finish it and they did open it, we decided after a little prayer time that the best thing we could do with these is create a prayer program using these fetal models. So we have about 700 or so people already signed up to be one of the 4,000 Intercessors for Life. But obviously we got a little ways to go to get to 4,000. But the idea, this bold concept, is to have 4,000 people praying daily for the closing of that Planned Parenthood. And I believe in all my heart that if 4,000 people were to start praying ardently, consistently, daily, that we would see God move and act in such a powerful way that maybe that sinkhole would open up that I had hoped would have happened when we did the Jericho March. But that's what we're doing. So there's information in your envelopes about signing up for the 4,000 Intercessors for Life that you can get later when David talks about some other items at the end of his talk. So I just want to encourage you to join in this effort that we are about. Lives are being saved. Hearts are being changed. Families are being spared harm. And God is doing a very, very good work, and I'm delighted to be able to make that report to you this evening.